Oh, he just pulls it straight out to mid-table. Well, we better stop predicting this boy's shot because he's finding paths where we don't see. He does have, well, we've said it before, but he does have a problem here. There's traffic between the middle of the table and the 5-ball, so he's got to find a place where there's nothing intervening.
This is the shot, not nailing the pink, getting on position. How about that?
Well, if he's nervous now, you sure can't tell it. He looks like he's having a pretty good time out there. All the applause you hear is the crowd around the Bustamante table. They love every shot the man makes. And of course, we will keep you updated on that. All Bustamante needed to progress was one rack. He's already gotten that. So he is through with the final 64.
As we would expect. Valle, meanwhile, has made a very accomplished start. And this, remember, on the Vandenberg dry break, if Valle cleans up here, he could break for 3-0. That's a big lead. It's really racing to 8, isn't it?
Yeah, I asked Nick Vandenberg if he wants to spot this man 3 games in a race to 8. You know the answer.
Yes, Earl Strickland to follow on this table, so there'll be no shortage of excitement there. And then Dennis Orcollo and Steve Davis to finish up with, which could be an absolutely vital match for both men. In fact, they will have to treat it that way because they won't know what's going on in the other match. It's a nail-biter tonight.
Yeah, that next match upcoming is an important match for Strickland, known as the Pearl, although perhaps this week he should be known as the Volcano.
Yes. Valle didn't need that contact on the 9-ball. It's left him a real long shot on the black. Makeable, but harder than he would have liked.
A nice bit of distance here. That's the only problem with the shot. Oh, this man is on. Look at that. Straight in line for the 9-ball. His second of the evening.
Yeah, he's dealt with those 2 racks very comfortably. It's looking ominous for Nick Vandenberg. Gandy Valle has come out and clearly means business.
Forsyth and Nick Valle.
There's a first.
Yeah.
Very Forsyth, delectable.
I haven't been called that before.
Well, here's what's been going on elsewhere today. We've seen wins for Johnny Archer and Marlon Manalo. Kevin Uzel, a must-win game against Chris Calabrese. The Chancer from the West Midlands is through. And Andreas Roszczowski's had a big win as well. Xiaohui Kai, he's a useful little player from the Chinese Taipei. And Luong Chidong of Vietnam, winning the group, winning all 3 of his matches in that group. 8-6 over Reimering. Here in this group, Group 15, the group of death. And it's a group of sudden death tonight, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah, so far it's all been the Gandy Valle show. 9-ball gets kicked up table, so for once we get to see it played from a different position.
So I wonder what happened to the 9. Oh, a big bang there. From the orange, I believe it was.
No, the 3-ball.
Oh, the 3-ball.
Valle, to me, looks like he's searching for a place to push. all the different angles. He has to make that awful decision now where to put the cue ball. Look at that wall of balls there in the middle. That could prove interesting in this rack. Taylor hands the rest. And he's found the place he wants to put the cue ball.
Will make his second visit to the table. He didn't move in rack 1. Rack 2 he had a dry break. That was it. Now he's going to have to take a look at a tempting looking one ball.
I don't understand this push. I mean, you don't want to leave a man a full object ball and frankly a very makeable ball. Now he may be betting that Vandenberg's arm is cold because he's been in the chair for so long. And since Vandenberg is down in this match by 2 games, there's a lot more pressure on him now to make the arm a little jittery.
But why would you throw him a bone?
I wouldn't. You don't want to give a fellow like Vandenberg an opportunity. He'll shove it down your throat. And Vandenberg doesn't have to worry at all about position play with all his balls out there spread out. He's going to find a shot on the 2.
Well, didn't that backfire on Gandy Valle?
That was a bad decision.
Yes, that's one of those that we're not changing our view with hindsight. You looked at that and thought, boy, he's shown a lot of that to Vandenberg.
Well, frankly, I had assumed that he was going to push out to a jump shot. But he did not. Now Nick Vandenberg has a great opportunity to level this match up because if he gets through this rack,
he breaks next.
He breaks. Valle could rue that decision later on.
He's probably ruining it right now. Sat in his chair, unable to do anything about it, having ceded the table to his opponents. This is one of those matches, isn't it, that there is such interest just along the way for these two fellas with Bustamante and the Crown Prince that this is one of those where you're going to have to maintain focus on your job and forget all those extraneous noises that you hear.
There's so much noise right next to them that if the applause erupts at the wrong time when you're in the middle of a stroke,
it's not ideal.
Vandenberg has gone from the 1 ball, and it appears that he will clear the rack. And Valle will be changing his push-out philosophy for the rest of this match.
I think he might be. My imagination is Gandy Valle working that wad of gum even harder than when he started the match. He looked like a baseball player out there.
Yeah. He's not even looking at the table.
Well, it must be awful just to be sitting there knowing this was all my fault.
Yeah.
This wasn't some flash of inspiration from Nick Vandenberg that's done this. That's all on Gandy.
If you're going to push out to a shot, at least push out to a much tougher shot than the one he did.
So, Gandy Valle through, Nick Vandenberg a bone. And he's chewed it up. 2-1 now. Valle, but Vandenberg up next. So this one boiling up nicely over on table 2. The house full signs are up as Francisco Bustamante and the Crown Prince of Brunei are dueling. Blue blood against pool royalty.
Well, Villa watches as Bustamante now in a rather clumsy cueing position. This can make bad things happen. But not when you're Francisco. Not many players in the world can make balls disappear as well as this one. Yeah, he's backed up a little too far there, Nick. Now he's got to make that cue ball travel.
Yes.
Well, he can just... No, he can't really. He has to lay a stroke on us here.
We've seen already today that players that are safely through, however much they try not to let it affect their game, it does. Wang of Chinese Taipei just fell asleep, didn't he, against Imran Majid. Johnny Archer did not play well in his win against Jay. And Bustamante is also in that category. He's through, so there's no heat on him.
Yes, an unintentional let-up. If you ask them if they've let up, they'll tell you no. But I guess some of the drive has to have been bled out by now.
Especially when it's a long night. There you go. There you go.
Well, if you can't make it one way, make it another way.
You know what? That's the kind of shot that tells the Crown Prince, this isn't going to be my night. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Well, it's not the easiest shot. We should have made it every time. And you think, boy, he's left it up, and hang on, here comes the messenger.
That's a nice little three-rail time shot, trick shot. Take a look. If the pockets weren't as tight as they were, he would have scratched instead.
Well, he's in cruise control here, Django. Never won this competition.
No, it's terrible. One of the saddest stories I ever covered, the year that he was in the finals, and it was the day after he'd gotten the news that his 6-month-old baby had passed away. Played with, all that choking emotion in his heart. There were a lot of tears in the room that day.
Wasn't the kindest of layouts for the Crown Prince, stuck on the 50-yard line, as you would call it. Either one thing or the other here, and a stretch to go with it as well. So he's going to have to look for safety, you would think.
I would expect him to pull out the rest here, because this is really clumsy. Play a nice save. It appears that Bustamante is going to have to leap a little bit. Oh, he chose to swerve and has missed it. He's given the Crown Prince ball in hand.
Didn't miss by much.
Can you settle down up there, please?
The stern voice of our match referee, Michaela Tab, keeping order. That missed by a whisker. How did it miss?
Very, very close. Crown Prince has a nice layout here. Crown Prince, by the way, has had some of the greatest players in the world to teach him. The last one, I believe, was Tommy Donlan of Scotland, who spent 3 months with him. Ralph Souquet had been scheduled to make that trip.
And Steve Davis has spent some time there as well. If nothing else, it shows you this man is serious about wanting to be taken seriously as a pool player.
Yeah, he's really worked on his game. He's doing a fine job of moving the balls around. He's going to have a bit of a problem with the 7 ball. Nasty little cut here on the 4.
Yeah, it was a nasty one. Very missable. So just like that, back in business.
Bustamante is known as having the most flowing stroke that you've ever seen, and it does. The cue stick moves like it's in the water. Watch out.
No, he's okay. He's okay. It's actually worked out as terrific position, isn't it? Good angle.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll be able to move the cue ball right off the rail. Put it wherever he wants it for the 8. Well, as we were saying, the let-off, when you know that you're through, often comes into play, but he's not left the Prince much to work with here.
The little things are not going his way. You think about the fluke on the 9. That's bounced in and out of both jaws.
He deserved that shot.
You don't always get what you deserve. And so Bustamante can try again. Not exactly great position on the 8 ball.
Nope. Now he's pushed the 9 into a rather difficult position.
Well, he's made that a lot harder than it needed to be.
He certainly has.
I wouldn't be at all surprised to see this bouncing around. It's a tough angle.
Well, you called it. And Prince takes his third 9 ball of the match and elects to take a break. So we'll go back to table 1 to check out the action there.
Gandy Valle has just forced a snooker. Nick Vandenberg, the break and hold. He's leveled this one at 2 apiece. Just to confirm, it's do or die for these two. And there is the confirmation. There is only one way for 2 guys to progress from this group, because Valle and Vandenberg play each other, Todt and Al-Sada play each other. The 2 winners advance, the 2 losers don't. We're not measuring this, that and the other, how many racks you've won, how many you lost, and all those permutations, and getting the calculators out. This is simple. Did you win, did you lose?
Watch out now. No, he's whoa, what a shot that turned out to be. Don't try that at home.
Well, you can try it. You're probably not going to get it.
Kicking into a safety. How do these fellas do it? I've always just been thrilled to watch how these fellas ride the rails. They can predict the path of that cue ball so marvelously. Look at this. Look at this. Even though the cue ball can be seen, what do you do with it?
Is there any vague attempt at trying to play a combination on that 6? That's not going to go, is it?
No. He's just trying to figure out if he can maybe carom that 2 ball across into the other corner pocket off of the 6, but that's a mighty tall order.
It really is.
Well, he knows he can leave the cue ball there if he needs to. It's just a matter of where do you go with the 2. Is that other corner pocket available?
How's this going to end up? Not good.
Not well. Brandenburg's a fellow who I've really watched him grow up in this game. It's been a joy to see him develop. He's worked awfully hard to get where he is.
And one of the game's good guys as well, by all accounts.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
This was an important rack for Valle. He's nowhere near got it sewn up yet, but at least he could have control of the table here if he can block this. Just don't forget, he was the break-off man here. He wants to keep his nose in front.
Well, because of the position of the 3-ball, he's got to bring the cue ball back down to this end of the table. So he's going to put some traveling music on. He's there. Now, I believe the cut is on into the side pocket, but the path off of that cut to the 4-ball is going to have to be altered with English, so that affects the path of this object ball. That all has to be taken into account in that great pool computer of the skull. Oh, wow. Look, just bank it and make it easier. Yeah.
Got all the shots, doesn't he?
He does. He even cheated the pocket a little bit on the bank so that he could get the right shape. Wow. 6-ball automatic. 7-ball is not.
This is the shot. Position on the 7. Got a chance.
Maybe a bit of a reach.
That cue ball's going to have to do a little bit of work for him as well. This is... we've seen easier 7 balls than this tournament.
We certainly have. Ooh, ran into the 8-ball. That
should be okay.
Yeah, he's all right. Had that cue ball come out and married up frozen to the 8-ball, you would have seen a frown instead of a smile on Valle's face. Pretty pool from both of these fellas.
And it's Valle who gets through. That turned out to be quite a nail biter. That was hard work, that rack. But Valle's held serve. Vandenberg up next.
Let's get back to your commentators, John Forsyth and Nick Holland.
Yes, Group 15, the group of death. Gandy Valle and Nick Vandenberg dueling here. Sandor Toth and Ahmed Al-Sada dueling later on. 2 winners will advance, 2 losers will go home. So Group 15 gets cleared up tonight, as does Group 16 up next. Or in fact, Group 16 is a bit of a mess, really, because Van Nam Wing has really spoiled that one. He could win against David Relic, and that could make Steve Davis and Dennis Okoye very interesting indeed. This one's pretty clear. Vincent Faqet of France is through. Earl Strickland will join him if he gets 5 racks over Chen Xinju. That is our next match due up here. That's the interesting one looking down the road. That Steve Davis Dennis Okoye match, they won't know what they have to do.
Right.
Because if Van Nam Win beats David Relic of Australia, that becomes a win-win match for those two fellas. So both of them have to go into it thinking, I've got to nail the guy. Hello.
Cue ball nearly went away. It did not, but still no great opportunities here. Take a look. Cue ball gets kicked right toward the pocket by the 2-ball. Vandenberg fortunate that white ball survived that trip. Now, Vandenberg is looking to push out to a long shot. He's not going to return the favor given to him earlier.
Boy, doesn't that seem a long time ago. This match has been, as you would expect, not progressing at speed. Every shot being thought about and worked out, and quite rightly so.
Vandenberg's problem here is if he pushes down there, which is what he's going to do, there's a very rudimentary safety available in that the 4 and 5 are sitting down there waiting to act as blockers. He tries to make the table a bit uglier, but I'm not sure that's going to help him. He wanted this cue ball to be right up on the rail so that that safety would not be available, because for Valle to get behind the 4 and 5, he's going to have draw on the cue ball when he gets there. However, you know, really Valle can bank that 1-ball back up table where his cue stick is now, and then he's got the 2-ball, the 6-ball, the 9-ball, and the 3-ball blocking the cue from it. So I don't think Vandenberg's going to be joyous when he comes back to the table. He needs an error on this man's part. Valle not in the habit of yanking those.
I wonder if that applause just got to me a little bit there, because he was down on the shot.
Yeah, it's a good time to get up and walk around the table again. Just start over when you get your concentration broken. Don't try to force a shot. Vandenberg happy to see the discomfort in his opponent.
Well, again, just as he was lined up, you could hear the break coming from the other table, and Valle stood up again and just said, you know what, I can't work this out. I'm going to put Vandenberg back in. It's very unusual that a player off a push-out that can see a ball will turn it down.
It's a dangerous thing to do. Sometimes it works out, but often, you know, the fellow who's pushed out already has a plan.
Plus, even if he didn't have a plan, Jerry, I think Vandenberg's had 5 minutes to sit and formulate one in his chair while Gandy Valle was dancing around the table like a moth around a hot light.
There is a bit of a mind game that many players will play where they know they're going to give it back, but they'll get down and act like they're going to fire at it so that the opponent thinks they're not coming back in, and then it's a bit of a surprise when they get put back in. There's a lot of mental chess going on these tables.
Yeah, looking to see if he's got a sight of that down what might be a very narrow channel. Not sure if it'll pass. Well, yes, it will.
Yeah, but we're going to... Well, don't know. Now, he may go ahead and just take this on. But a safety here is the easier shot. Yeah, he's played safe. He may have put too much pace on this ball.
Yeah, that's going to stick its nose out and everything else, isn't it?
Oh, yes. There's the opening that Vandenberg was seeking. This is not an easy table to cruise through, however. The 4 ball is hidden behind the 5. You can see that on the left-hand side of your screen. 3 ball has a big 9 ball around it, so it's going to take some skill to get through this. I would expect these fellas to want to just play down to difficult points where these balls are together and then play really powerful safeties and get ball in hand again.
Yeah, it's taken very well.
Well, he can come down to this end of the table now. No problem there if he can avoid the 6 ball. Now, I like coming down to this end of the table and pushing the 3 ball up table and marrying the cue ball to the 9 after this shot, but we'll see what Nick has in his heart.
Every rack seems to be like this, doesn't it, in this match? There's no easy shots, no cheap run-outs. It's going to be a little mistake here, an error of judgment there that could decide this one, and that wasn't a connection that Vandenberg needed to make, I don't think.
No, but he still left himself a makeable shot. The problem is, what does he do with the 4 now? I mean, he's got to get really pinpoint position down close to that rail to be able to make that 4 ball.
Yeah, this is coast to coast with the white ball.
He might decide to come back down table 2 rails by putting bottom left on this ball, coming out of this corner that's at the bottom right of your screen with the cue ball and playing what we call short side shape on the 4. That would take the 5 ball blocker out of the equation. And even if he couldn't make a shot on the 4, he could play a nice safety. So if he comes back up the side of the table that he's on, that 5 ball gets huge. Well, he's shaking his head, so he's made a decision. He's got to play. Oh, he's going to play safe here. Great decision.
Yeah, probably the right decision, wasn't it? Yeah, under the circumstances. There was just no way you could legislate for getting a shot on that 4 ball and thereby giving up the table.
Yeah, don't take the kind of risk that puts your head in the noose.
Valle's options are severely limited. I've just got a slight hunch that this table might start filling up over the next few minutes, Jerry, which will be even more even more distraction for these players. I wonder if that was a distraction there, all that kerfuffle going on when Valle was trying to line up that shot.
Might well have been.
This table suddenly looks a whole lot easier.
Yeah, everything just opened up now. And he gets to progress his way back down the table. 4, 5, 6, 7, 9.
Yeah, this really is drawing up the dots, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a practice drill.
Yeah.
may have run a little bit past the position he wanted to be, so he was a little touch on this shot. Makeable, very much so for Nick.
Most of Valle's wounds in this match have been self-inflicted. You think back to that shockingly bad push-out. Think of the misjudgment there on the attempted escape. The safety that he played badly. Well, it's not so much. Well, it is a bit of, I suppose, Vandenberg is forcing those mistakes, but Valle is kind of walking into these traps at the moment, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And it's not something I'm used to seeing Valle do. It's a bit of a surprise. But could be, like we were talking about earlier, the jitters of playing in front of your home crowd.
Yeah. Vandenberg draws level again here, of far greater significance, because he's keeping the pressure on Gandy Valle. He is right in his slipstream, and the Filipino doesn't see where to shake it off. That was a smart rap. He out-thought and out-maneuvered his opponent there. That'll be playing on the mind of Gandy Valle. 3 apiece. And 8 must seem an awful long way away for both these fellas. This one's going down to the wire. On table 2, the Crown Prince of Brunei about to say thank you and good night to this year's World Pool Championship. Bustamante on the hill.
Well, it's been interesting having royalty visit our performance pits. But it's all over now.
I'm sure the Crown Prince enjoyed that, though, playing Francisco Bustamante in the World Pool Championship. That's a little bit special for anybody. And it has to be said, class prevailed in the end. Bustamante not at his best, but good enough. Darren Appleton and Jerome Pena will attempt to join Bustamante in the round of 64. Pena, with all those ranks won, gives himself a very good chance. If Pena wins, he's in. If Appleton wins, he wins, so he's in. That's a winner-take-all match. The Crown Prince cannot, under any circumstances, go through. But as you say, Jerry, it's been a pleasure having him here.
Yes, a bit of a different experience, seeing someone who will one day mount the throne. But you know, he pays the price of that royalty. Everywhere he goes, he has to have all this entourage around him. It's not like he can just jump out for a little jog around the block.
Unlike Gandy Valle here, he can jog around his block anytime he likes. He's jogged around this table a few times in this match, hasn't he? I mean, he's getting quite an aerobic workout here. Gandy Valle has been pacing up and down and round and round and round this whole match.
Well, you said it earlier. The tables are not breaking very friendly.
And now they really do have this distraction to deal with of people filing in. I don't like what I'm seeing at all, Joe. Gandy Valle, from what I've seen of him, and I know you've seen a bit of him as well, he's a flow player. He's an instinctive, let your shots go kind of player. And he's having to think and work out every single shot. That's not his game.
Yeah, he seems to be putting himself under stress. And he's left that ball sticking out. Not that you would want to hit just the very edge of that ball, but it's certainly an easy jump.
Berg is winning the battle of tactics at the moment, even if the scoreline isn't actually reflecting that. It's turned into Nick's kind of match, hasn't it? Tactical, strategic, slow.
Well, he who can be the most patient in this kind of match has the advantage, and part of being patient is being able to control your nerves and keep that adrenaline from flowing through your veins. Players have different ways of fighting that adrenaline, drinking lots of water, taking deep breaths. One of the things they can't do is walk around the table. You're forced to sit in that chair where that adrenaline can just boil in your veins. I've had players describe that feeling to me as pins and needles in the arm.
Does he get away with the jump?
Well, he's forced to jump. He's forced to jump on his opponent. Valle showing a bit of disgust with the way this rack is going.
It's the whole nature of this match is right away from what he wants. You know those first two racks? He was cueing nicely.
Right.
Shots were coming. Right. He's barely had a decent look at the ball since then. And if he's going to start getting frustrated and lose patience, well, Vandenberg's got him exactly where he wants him. This is smart from Nick Vandenberg.
Yeah, but really this chess match kind of play does favor Vandenberg. He is more of a tactical player than the offensive style of Valle. Valle needs to get control of the table and have a layout of balls where he can free stroke through a rack to get back into his comfort zone.
Yes, right now, Valle has been forced to play it Vandenberg's way. That's not a recipe for success. He's got to try and change that around.
Another airborne attempt.
What does he get out of it? Oh, there's a gaggle of balls down there now. This rack is getting uglier and uglier by the shot.
Yeah, we could be here a while.
Boy, that's a mess.
Yeah, I like this decision that Vandenberg's about to make, because kicking into it, if he can come and strike that one ball full, but on the bottom side, the one ball is going to go away, and the cue ball is going to be behind the pink and the brown. That did not work.
That's not what he needed. That is not what he needed at all. So it's not a clear run yet for Gandy Valle, but that has to go down as an error of judgment from Nick Vandenberg. And while we were watching replay, you can see what Gandy Valle is doing. Where do I need to get that cue ball to go for that combination? If that combination goes, he's in clear blue water here, Valle. And maybe you can start letting those shots flow. It's been a while since Valle has just been able to get rid of that adrenaline you were talking about by playing some shots. This is the shot of the rack.
Oh, there's a multitude of problems here other than just making the shot. He's got to find a way to get shape on the two ball after this shot. The cue ball is going to be going back across the table with blocking balls that can get in the way of that. Plot. I wonder if he's going to try and drag this cue ball back off the rail and up table so that it doesn't go straight across toward the three. If he puts a little bit of bottom right on, that's what he'll be trying to do. kill the cue ball so the 4 doesn't get in the way. Nope. Well, no combination is easy. Your angle of error is just cut down to almost nothing.
I'm not sure who was the more disgusted with this, you or Gandy, because both of you reacted exactly the same. He drops his cue on the table, you threw your pen down.
Well, I would like to see a little more flow, and it's not the player's fault, it's just the way these racks are coming apart.
It is not playing to Valle's game at all, though, this match.
No, if it keeps going like this, Vandenberg, it's like getting a rack on the wire. That cue ball is deep in the pocket. That makes the shot more difficult because the point of the pocket comes into play and can affect the path of the cue ball coming out. And since he's not looking at the 3 ball at all, we know it passes that 4.
Yep, and the 4 will go. And it's back upstairs, isn't it? There's the confirmation that the 3 will slide by the pink. And it looks like he's got angle on the 4 to get it back up top.
Well, he'll probably keep it down on this end of the table so that he has a greater area to work into. No, he's going to take it right on up. Can just stop here if he wishes to play the 8 back into the side. Oh, now behind the back. Ball's out for an easy shot on the 8 ball into the corner pocket.
And that should set up an easy shot on the 9.
Should indeed.
Well, we ought to be keeping a log of missed 9 balls this week. There's been a few.
Oh, yeah.
And that one's, I know he's alright, I was thinking maybe a little longer than he would like, but Nick would expect to get this under most circumstances.
Vandenberg cruises through a torturous rack. That one I'm sure both men are glad to see gone. But Vandenberg now leads Gandy Valle 4-3. It's a race to 8.
And significantly, Jerry, for the first time in the match, the Dutchman in front. Elsewhere, Chan Keng Kwang of Singapore has demolished 4 of Sven Parrish, who's had a World Championship to forget. Ernesto Dominguez of Mexico a winner tonight, and Charlie Williams getting through against Fabio Petroni. Those 2 fellas we'll be seeing later on this week.
Yeah, Dominguez is playing really good game of pool this week. He's one of the players who's on the up cycle.
Vandenberg might be on the upswing if it can put this rack away. Boy, how long is it since we've had a break and a run out? And if Vandenberg can achieve that here, we have daylight between the players. Well, we were never going to just have a straight shot on the 1 ball, were we? But do we have a combination, I wonder?
I don't know, but it's always the last ball rolling that ruins the party.
You just start celebrating there, don't you? And then you say, oh, hang on, where's that green going? Green's just been pushed upstairs. Is the combo on?
Yeah, he's measured that combination. Now he's taking a look at where he can bank that 1 ball. have given for that 6 ball not to have been hit by the 8. Nice safety.
Nick will play this game all night. I think he's realised that Valle does not enjoy these safety battles, this snooker play. This is not his game. It's not his strength. And he's starting to wear him down mentally. You can almost see Valle looking up at the skies there before he's even attempted the shots, if say, not again.
You can see it.
Vandenberg's got this guy on the run.
He really does. Well, Valle is getting very frustrated. Oh, you can hear him. Deep sighs.
The body language, the why me looks. What have I done to deserve this stuff? Well, first of all, Valle needs to get out of this hole, and then he needs to just get back in his chair and retune, because this is a 4-3 match. This isn't some runaway. Vandenberg tearing him apart, but Vandenberg is winning this battle of wits. And it's showing in Gandy Valle's play. That was a million miles away. He's in some trouble, this fella.
Well, that's a safety that worked for Vandenberg. And for a moment he played with the idea of a 1-9 combination, but he's still playing with that idea.
He's more than playing with it.
If that 3 ball went there, I would agree with this.
If he gets it wrong, there's the risk of a short circuit for Gandy Valle. Why would you let him back into this?
I don't know. If he rattles this 9, like you say, the 1-9 combination will still be on.
He's on. And Valle, who's suffering at the moment, will suddenly bounce back to his chair with a bit of swagger. Well, it's a risky game Vandenberg's playing here. He still has time to rethink it, but he put that ball down pretty quick. So that tells you how confident he's feeling. Is it going to backfire on the Dutchman? Or is he really going to hurt Gandy Valle with this shot?
This is why I don't like it. His eyes are on the plane with the ball, but it works out. It's Vandenberg now. He's won the last 3 racks. He's got the tables rolling his way.
He certainly has. And he's got his opponent crumbling under the pressure. It's happening before our eyes. Nice 1-9 combination to finish off. Well, this group of death, as it's been called, starting to sort itself out. It will be sorted before we leave the building tonight. It has to be. When we close the doors tonight, 64 men are out, 64 move on. It's still wide open. Group 15, all 4 in with a shot.
Well, you got 2 matches, and the winners are going to pass through. The losers are going to not.
And this may be an absolutely critical rack for Gandy Valle. He's got a wing ball.
Yeah, but look at this cluster over on the left-hand side of the table, and that's what Valle is looking at, and just forces his cue into the floor.
Yeah, muttering away to himself. But this is where you worry for Valle. He's starting to look for the excuses here.
Yeah, he has. And
oh, look, I've got another bad break.
Yeah, look at him here. He's just showing a lot of frustration.
He's just got worn down in those earlier racks, and he's got to find something, because this match is not out of sight yet, but not by a long shot, but he's got to find something to snap out of this.
Yeah, the 1 ball has a huge pocket to go into because he can use the 8 as a bumper, but he's got to get back on that red 3, and that's the ball that's in the middle of that cluster that formed up on the left-hand side of the table.
He gets a good look at the red, but will he go to pot it, or will he go for the snooker? Well, tuck in behind the 6 ball there, I think it is.
The safety is very, very easy. The shot is not.
But if you're Gandy Valle, aren't you getting sick and tired of safety play?
Well, you may, but if you're a professional player, you've got to take what the table gives you, and if he plays that 3 ball, the cue ball is not guaranteed not to run into the 4, which is the next ball on, and then a lot of bad things can happen. So he's measuring the shot, Nick.
Well, it's his natural instinct to go for shots.
He's going to try and pull the cue ball away from the 4. He's asking for a lot here.
No, he played safe. He thought better of it. That was absolutely the right thing to do. He doesn't want the ball going down.
Now, how close? See, he said, why weren't you closer to that 6 ball? Now I've left a path to the 3. It looks close in that shot, but it's not near close enough for Valle to be satisfied.
That's why Vandenberg is way up there, checking out his options. Can he carom that cue ball off the red into the black?
And if he hits the 3 ball anywhere on the left-hand side, it's going to run into the 8 ball.
Runs it anyway.
So he's got a lot of opportunities here.
Yeah, left side, it goes in. Right side,
it goes in. It off. Yeah. I don't like that particular carom though, because the cue ball could follow the 8 ball in. Yeah, once you've got a man down, you want to stand on his neck. You don't want to give him a chance to get back up.
Remind me never to get on your wrong side, Joey.
Well.
Oh, that was interesting, wasn't it? A little wry smile from Vandenberg, and maybe Valle at last will have something to smile about. He could have gone left or right. What he couldn't do was go middle.
Right.
I thought twice about it, but Valle's back in business at last.
Well, finally, Valle has a layout that he should be able to roll through, loosen up a little bit.
Working the moisture out of that rack, out of the hands. Sweaty palms won't do you any good in this game.
No, they won't. This rack could do Valle a world of good. He will, after all, only be 2 down once he completes this. Pardon me, he'll only be 1 down.
And even though it's Vandenberg up next, at least he will have stemmed the tide a little bit. Because Gandy Valle has had a rough passage here.
Yeah, he's had a real tough time out here the last few racks.
Joe, this was the rack he had to have. If he dropped this 6-3 with Vandenberg up next, that was probably lights out.
Yeah.
So Vandenberg's done him a power of good by not making the right contact on that 3. And Nick was thinking, that was there. I could have nailed that. It was a tough ask, but it was there.
Uh-oh.
Hello. This is another tough ask, isn't it?
It is. He slams the chalk down on the table. This time I did it to myself.
It's just not coming easy for him, is it? Nothing. This shouldn't have happened. It's one he should get, and he's certainly capable of getting, but there's a degree of difficulty he's factored into this that he didn't need to have done. And if he misses this shot, Jerry, I think he'll fall apart.
I'm afraid I have to agree with you. Ooh, did you see that? He's almost stood up.
He's at full stretch. I don't think he's in trouble. He was at full stretch, and he is all over the place.
Why did he not reach for the rest? It would have been a much more comfortable shot. That's not the shot you want to have that long, clumsy bridge on.
This is where all those earlier tactical battles that Berg forced in this match are starting to pay off, because Valle mentally is out of his stride.
Yeah, and inside, you know that Berg is wearing a very large grin.
And if he can nail this one, we might just see that grin break out, because he'll be at 6-3 and breaking. Realistically, Valle may be broken right here. Oh, it's dropped. The Dutchman is doing the job here, isn't he?
Flying Dutchman.
This is impressive from Nick Berg. 6-3 and breaking for the hill.
The wound dynamic duo of Nick Holling and Jerry Forsyth.
Well, we've just seen some lights on.
Berg to break, leading 6 racks to 3.
Now, if for once we can get an open table, Berg can march to the hill. He has taken the last 4 racks in a row by forcing Valle to play his style of pool.
Did you take that?
We have a shot on the 1. Alert the world.
We have a shot on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have shots all over the table, Jerry.
Yes, we do.
This is a clean-up.
Well, no. I started to say the cue ball might be headed toward that corner, but it's not. So all he really has to do now is take a moment to figure out exactly how he wants to go through this rack, and then carry out the plan, make a plan, work the plan, and be ready to adapt. Really, his only problem at all is the 2-ball, and the only problem there is that it's blocked from its easiest pocket by the 6, but there are plenty of other pockets available to it. Now, can he go down table and not run into anything? Thread a couple of needles. With every ball that disappears from the table, there are less blockers out there. Trying to draw out of traffic.
He has that 3. He's pretty much on the hill.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's got to like it here. You have to hand it to Berg. He was able to keep it together. And
he threw down some bait for Valle, didn't he? And he just kept pulling that bait a little bit nearer and nearer until Valle was tempted into his trap. And once he was in there, there was no getting out. It's going to take an awful lot for Gandy Valle to get back into this match now. He's been out-psyched.
Yeah, the strategy that Berg has used has really paid dividends.
I mean, the element of good fortune that Berg's had is that Valle's not been in a position where he's been able to use that stroke play that is such a strength of his, but in every other department, tactically, he's got it so right here, hasn't he, the Dutchman?
He really has.
And you can see why Valle highly regarded in the Philippine pool circles, is still not necessarily regarded as on the A-list of Philippine pool players. He needs to work on his mental game a little bit more and be a bit tougher and have a little keep focus a bit more. He was rattled, didn't he?
Needs to work on his patience. Brandenburg, meanwhile, only 3 easy balls away from the hill. Valle, wow, he's still 5 marks away, so now it really gets tough for him. Trying to hold it together when you're that far down is a very tall order. Brandenburg has picked up his pace here. He has to make sure he doesn't get ahead of himself. Don't give away the farm after you've driven through the gate.
Yes, this would be a bad 7 to miss.
Whoa, and he hit that rail early.
Didn't he just? Yeah, he is racing to the hill, and he's got there. And the lights might be going out for Gandy Valle soon, because Brandenburg has taken this match by the scruff of the neck, and you just got the impression that Valle was all at sea, and he is sinking while sending out distress flares. Terrible trouble. So many men's fortunes being determined this evening. Some good, some bad. It's bad for Darren Appleton. It's fantastic for Jerome Pena, who's won that match with Appleton, and having lost both his first 2 matches in hill matches against Bustamante and the Crown Prince, Jerome Pena, by winning his last match, has claimed the place in the last 64. That's quite a story for a man who came through the Philippine qualifying competition. And isn't it ironic? A guy that can lose his first 2 matches and get through. Oh dear, oh dear. Valle might as well just throw in the towel here. But Pena loses his first 2 matches and goes through. Steve Davis, who we'll see later on, can win his first 2 matches and easily go out.
Correct.
That's just horrible for Valle. That sums the night up for him.
Brandenburg analyzing what to do with the 2 ball. If he wants to be kind, he'll find a way to run this rack out. Any safety here would be just brutality.
It really would, wouldn't it?
But he may not have a choice unless he can massage that cue ball down to this end of the table or over to the far left side. And even with this kind of a lead, you don't want to give your opponent any chance at all. Because just as Vandenberg has now put together 5 racks in a row, Valle equally capable of doing the same.
No question. Momentum. You don't want momentum changing chairs on you. Let's go back to what you said earlier, Jerry, about having your foot on someone's throat. You don't let it up.
What a shot. Well, that should be all she wrote.
Vandenberg closing in here on a place in the last 64.
This is the last difficult shot, really. Has to keep the 4 ball out of his life. And he's done it.
And now Gandy Valle can start planning for a future that doesn't involve anything else in this pool hall the rest of this week. His interest in this competition seems to have come to a conclusion.
Vandenberg's only task now is to not take anything for granted. Stay in that cool frame of mind until that strike ball falls. He just put a line on the table with his cue stick, and he knows that he needs to be to your left side of that line as you view. He's not taking any chances of being on the right-hand side of it, although he did come a good deal closer to that 8-ball than I had thought he might. Got away with it.
Overall, Jerry, I have to say I've been very impressed with the Dutchman tonight.
I always am with this fella. He rarely lets you down.
It makes you wonder how he got himself into this mess in the first place, doesn't it?
Yeah, yes it does.
You see him like this taking Gandy Valle apart, and Valle is no mug, believe me. Gandy Valle is a very capable player. He's dismantled him here.
Yeah, I've seen Valle do the exact same thing to other players, but he does it in a flurry, in a flash. Like you say, he's got a powerful offensive game. His defense has proven to be his weakness.
And hasn't Vandenberg taken full advantage of it? So the last act of this absorbing Group 15 encounter. Gandy Valle poised above the trapdoor, which is about to open on him. And Nick Vandenberg advances. Gandy Valle drops out. And there can be no complaints from any of these Filipino fans. The better man on the day has won here.
That match, a grand example of what a mental game this is and how mental toughness can pull you through some tough times. Slightest bit of weakness, you're going to get taken advantage of.
Gandy Valle cannot finish above the line. Sandor Todt and Ahmed Al-Sada of Qatar will play later tonight. The winner will advance to the round of 64 with Nick Vandenberg. Okay, let's go back to Uday in the studio.